All right, so now that we've went over all these different things that you need to be doing and you should start doing regularly to start making money on Facebook, I want you to keep in mind that again, I would just want to reiterate, this is not an overnight play. You're not going to do this today and all of a sudden your coffers be filled up with money. This is something that you need to be doing every single day. And just like a tree, in the long run, you're going to actually start seeing the results of it in the long run. So I don't want you to give up just because you did it today and you didn't make $1 million by tomorrow. Just keep doing it and let it compound and let it compound. And you will see the fruits of your labor as long as you don't give up and as long as you keep doing this, all right? So now I want to talk to you about messaging, all right? So messaging is really, really important. And it's a really good way to actually drive traffic and get people to go see your offers, all right? Here's some of my cold messages right here that I'm just gonna show you some of my cold messages right here, all right? Now I have my VAs go in and actually send all these out to me. There are several ways that you can do this, all right? One way that you can do this in a very successful way, I don't do it anymore myself just because it takes too much time, but it really all just depends on how much time that you have and where you're at. I've got to run an entire company and manage an entire company, so I don't have a whole lot of free time on my hands. But I have done it before and it was pretty successful. One thing that you can do, obviously, is as you get these new friends, you know, as you get these people that are coming in, and they're becoming your friends and you're confirming them, or as you're adding people and they're, you know, accepting your friend requests, just click on them and leave them a little personal voice message. You know, just click on Messenger and leave them a little voice message and, you know, just thank them for accepting your friend request, thank them for being friends, and just introduce yourself and let them know what you could actually help them with if they need any help with, and just introduce yourself. All right. It's really necessary for you to get in everybody's messenger box so that they know who you are and you're seen and heard by them. Okay. I personally don't do this anymore because I just don't have the time. So what I do is I do something like this. All right. These are messages that I send out to different people. These are messages that actually goes out to my Facebook friends. So all my Facebook friends, I literally just, I have somebody that works for me, and every day she goes out and sends like 100 or 200 messages to my Facebook friends, and she just sends out this message. It just lets them know, you know, hey, we're Facebook friends. I feel like I'm obligated to tell them about my partner program. I let them know what I could help them with, if they need any help, how I can help them. And then I just let them know, if you need more information, check this out. I want you to make sure that you use some type of link, some type of tracking link, so that you can actually track and see from these messages how much traffic that you're actually getting from these messages. It's really important. So you don't see the link here, but we've got different tracking links for each of these guys. All right, here's a tracking link for my mentor lab. Here's a tracking link for this expert secrets or this expert launch here. And then here's one for all my Facebook friends, all right? Now, she just started doing this on Friday with these particular messages and this particular link. So this gives me a really good way to actually gauge what's working, if I'm actually getting any traffic from these links or not, from people clicking them, because I can go in and actually track the activity, okay? So this is one way to do it. Just go in and come up with a cold message dialogue and just literally copy and paste this to everybody that becomes your friend, if they're already your friend or if you just became friends with them, all right? That's one way to do it. I have had lots of success. I've probably done, I would say I've done at least $70,000 to $80,000 in sales revenue from selling our software just by cold messaging people to our actual free trial offer, all right? This is the least time involved method right here. The least time involved method is just to go in and send cold messages to people. The more time involved method, which takes more time but is going to produce you more results, is to build up a relationship with everybody, okay? Now, obviously, this is much more time intensive, so it really depends on where you're at, and it really depends on where you're at, how much time you have, and who it is that you're messaging, all right? So for me, I have a lot of different Facebook friends. For the last year, every single Facebook friend that I've got has been someone who has sent me a request, and I have not sent them a request. They've requested to be my friend, and I haven't requested to be their friend. They've just requested me, and then I've accepted. And I don't have a lot of time, so I go this route. All right. Most of the people who send me friend requests, they already know me. They know what I'm about. They've seen me. They've got into my profile funnel, and they've liked something, and that's why they've asked me to be a friend. So I just send them a cold message like this. All right. Now, if you're on the other end of the spectrum and you're the one sending out all the friend requests yourself, and these people aren't requesting you, but you're requesting them, you probably don't want to go this route. The route that you probably want to go is you want to start actually building up a relationship and then work to this route. You can still build out these messages that you're going to end up sending people, but then you'll just want to message everybody, you know, and try to flatter them for sure. So either a good way to get people to respond to you is either through flattery or to inquire about a money-making activity for them. All right. So you either flatter them with something, you give them a compliment and tell them, you know, hey, I watched your live video, or I checked this out, or, you know, I read your post, or something. So I read your post or something. Do something that will actually flatter them, because as you guys in your own psychology, probably if somebody messages you and it's something that's flattering you, all right, you will probably respond to that message and say something like, oh, hey, thanks a lot, or thanks for noticing, all right? And it's the same way with other people. If you attack them in their personal space and flatter them, you will most likely get some type of response from them, all right? So, like I said, if you are the one that are actually sending out the friend request yourself, and you're the one out there actually, you know, saying, hey, will you be my friend? Then what you want to do is you want to go with the build a relationship approach. You want to send them a cold message, introduce yourself, tell them why you requested to be their friend, tell them something, you know, that's flattering to them that they would love to hear, or ask them a question about what they do, what their services are. All right. Now, before you do this, just think to yourself, you know, what types of things would you respond to? What types of things would grab your attention? All right. So what types of things would piss you off? Like me, if you check out my profile, you can see what I do. You can see all the information about me and what it is that I do if you spend 5 minutes looking over my profile. So whenever somebody adds me as a friend and I accept them and they, you know, hey, John, how are you today? Hey, what do you do? I just wanted to find out more information about what you do. Usually that just frustrates me because I can see that person, you know, doesn't know anything about me. They didn't take any time to learn anything about me. So I just get frustrated and I'm just like, hey, fuck off. If you want to know about me, go check my fucking profile. All right. So if you want to try to sell something to these people and monetize these people, don't do the same thing. You go check out their profile, do a little bit of research, get a little bit of information about them, and then ask, if you're going to ask them a question that's not so easily available from their profile. If you're going to ask them, hey, where are you from? And then you just check their profile. Like if I was to ask Blake, you know, hey, where do you live at? And it's the first thing on his profile, lives in Winter Springs, Florida. He's probably going to be like, hey, fuck off, dude. You know, that's on my profile. He's probably just going to ask me, what do you have to sell? What are you selling? And let's get that over with. All right. Now I could ask him something else like, hey, you know, how's the weather in Florida today? And that's going to do what? And that's going to completely change the dynamic of the conversation, where now he actually understands that I've spent some time looking at him and checking out his profile, and I've given him some time. All right. So that's going to flatter him that I'm actually sitting there looking at him and gathering information about him. So definitely don't, if you're going to start cold messaging people, then like I said, you have two options. You can go with the option that I choose. That does work for me. It's not near as successful as option number 2. Option number 1 is just cold message everybody the same message and hope it actually works. All right. I do that all the time. It does work. But like I said, it does not work near as well as going in and building up the relationship first. If I go in and actually build up the relationship and have 4 or 5 messages that are going back and forth between me and my target before I send them this message, then they're going to be a lot more likely to check out this link and respond to this link, because we've had this little bit of relationship. All right. I simply don't have the time to do that, so I don't actually do that. All right. But that is the best way. The best way is to go in and actually build up a relationship. And what that means to build up a relationship, it just means get some engagement back and forth. You send them some messages, you get a couple messages back, you send them some messages. Probably don't want to do it all in the same day. You probably want to wait a couple days after you send these messages to them, that you actually introduce them to the thing that you're trying to pitch them on, or the thing that you're trying to sell them. All right. But just messaging people in general, if you go in and every single person that you are friends with, you go in and send some type of message, you go in and just say, hey, you know, I'm glad that we're connected. I really liked your video on this, or you attack them with some type of flattery. That's going to actually start to build that relationship. And then whenever they see your post, whenever they see the content that you post, which we're going to be talking about in one of our later sessions, they'll begin to actually engage in your content because they know who you are. You've already built that relationship, and you'll see the more people actually engage in your content, the more that you're going to be able to sell on the internet, and the more credibility that you're going to have is getting people to engage. All right. So going in and messaging people, even if your end goal is not to sell them anything through Messenger, it's just to build that relationship and work up that relationship, so that now they'll actually start to follow the stuff that you post, and they'll go in and like it, and they'll go in and comment on it, and they'll go in and engage it. All right. So you have a few options here. I told you what I do in my option, but that is not the best way to do what I do. I do it because it does work. It is not near as effective as the other way. It does work, and I just don't have time to do it the other way. And it's not, and you can do this with a VA. You can hire a VA. I don't really recommend hiring a VA to do the relationship building, because that VA is not going to be able to build the relationship near as good as you are. And then that VA probably doesn't know the answer to all your questions like you do. And then even if they do, if that person ever messages you later, you don't really have any idea what they talked about. So it works really great to send an audio message. You know, for your first message that you ever message somebody, if you just send them an audio message introducing yourselves, you know, thank them for connecting, and just give an introduction about yourself, and just be an audio inside their message so that they can go in and listen to it, and they view you as a human, and you can go in and start building that relationship. All right. So if you message a few people every single day, you'll start to actually build these relationships, and you'll notice that the people that you're messaging and you're building a relationship with, they're going to start to be the same people who are watching your live content, the same people who are liking your post and commenting on your post and sharing out all your posts, and actually giving you engagement on your profile, which is going to help you a lot. All right. So your two routes are either just come up with cold messages like this. These are cold messages that I use for groups that I'm in. I literally just go into the Facebook groups, and then I have my VAs just go in and message every single person in the group, except for the admins and moderators, obviously. Never message, if you've got a message that you're going to send to every single person in the group, always skip the admins and the moderators, and don't send to the admins and moderators, because then they're probably going, because people build groups so that they have their own little, they have your own little, their own little client pool where, you know, it's for their own lead generation. So if they realize that you're in there trying to grab all their leads, they're going to kick you out really, really quick. So just don't message the admins, don't message the moderators, just message the group members, and you should be fine. All right. Your other route, again, is to go in and actually build value and build a relationship and get some dialogue going back and forth before you go in and actually introduce them to your offer. If you're going to go that route, where you build a dialogue back and forth and you build a relationship, try to do a little bit of research first. Try to go in and see what they do. Like if I was to go in and ask, like, hey, what do you do? he's probably going to be frustrated, and he's probably going to instantly think, okay, hey, this guy is going to try to sell me something. He's just making small talk before he gives me the pitch. Why? Because it says right here he fucking builds high converting sales funnels. Not a question I need to ask him because it says right there. So if I'm asking him, hey, what do you do? Hey, where do you live? Well, then he's going to instantly know I didn't spend any time checking him out, that he's not valuable to me, he's not important to me, he's just another lead, because literally all the questions that I ask him are answered right there if I spend a couple seconds looking over his profile. So if you're going to take the approach where you want to go in and build a relationship, that is your best approach. That does take time. So just invest that time. Go in and check out their profiles. Try to find something that you relate to, that you could use as a way to actually flatter them, because flattery works really, really well with people. So spend a moment, check over their profile, see what they do, find out some information about them, and then use that as ammunition in your messages to actually start that conversation. Again, the audio works really, really well. You can't do audio. You cannot do audio on your. You can't do audio on your desktop. You can only do audio on your mobile phone. But on your mobile phone, it's really, really easy to do audio if you just open up your Messenger. If you just open up your Messenger on your mobile phone, and then you just go to the person that you want to message, right there you'll see a little microphone, and you just mash that microphone, and then you just record your message, and then after you record your message, it will just get sent. All right? And that's one of the best ways to do your messaging, is a little audio snippet, because then people can hear you, they can realize that you're a real person, and then they can go in and message you back or send you an audio back, which is really great. If they start to send you audios back, then you're building a pretty good relationship. All right. So the messaging your friends is really, really useful to go in and actually message people and start this relationship and actually start building a relationship. Like I said, you'll notice that the more people that you message, the more people you'll see who actually start to engage with your posts, because they know who you are and they feel more connected to you. So definitely leverage messaging in what you do on social media.